break my back again, only drink spoiled milk, and be hit with a cactus every day for the rest of my life. Just some of the things I'd rather do than have to do this challenge again. I started this challenge on August 20th, that's 96 days ago at the time of writing this script. A lot of you have asked me to do a comment only run, so thank you for that, but maybe next time you could ask me to play a different game, as this challenge honestly sucked. I started with the name Mr. Grey as a hint to those raunchy movies. As always, the name gives a hint as to how awful this was going to be. Imagine putting your little fella in a pencil sharpener and slowly shaving him away. Yeah, that bad. I watched Claptrap have his eye pulled from his head like Peter Griffin did when he was on crystal meth. I only felt a little bad, so I took a slight detour to get some free levels. Upon my return, I took justice into my own hands and murdered Knuckle Dragger for the unwanted enucleation, then travelled with Claptrap to the town's ophthalmologist, Dr. Sir Hammerlock. We sedated Claptrap, and because I'm squeamish, I didn't watch the procedure. I progressed towards Boom Boom, where I gently inserted my bullets into their bodies until they were rendered incapacitated. At this point, I thought this challenge was going to be easier than separating red and green Skittles, but as it will soon become apparent, I must be colorblind because I really struggled. I went to try and kill Captain Flint, and this is where the pain started. I went out to fight him, died. I hid in the area before you jumped down, died. I hid there again, but was extra careful this time, and somehow killed him. I will admit that after I got to Claptrap's ship, I didn't open Borderlands until September 1st. Getting off the ship, I was met by a welcoming party of Bullymong, which is the only party I've ever really had. Granted, my birthday is April 1st, and most people think it's super original to get me a wrapped box with nothing inside, or pretend like they're going to throw me a party. I saved Corporal Reese, but he decided to hit snooze on living, got the core, plugged it in, and collected my reward. Oh wait, I spoke to Scooter, who informed me that despite Crazy Earl being crazy, he has proper dining etiquette, which I find slightly surprising. Not because I don't think he could learn to eat in the correct manner, it's more the fact that he's a floating head. Strange tangent aside, I did a lot of nothing in Sanctuary. Oh, and I was stupid and accepted rock, paper, genocide, so I had a green pistol in my inventory for the entire game. I then headed off to Frostburn Canyon, home of the Firehawk, and other. On my way to Lilith's little hideout, I died, which sucks because it's not Sword Art Online. I also got a second wind with a no-scope shot on a Nomad Pyro's backpack. I found Lilith and gave her some of Jesse Pinkman's good stuff to give her, a little energy to kill things. And I really wish I could do the same thing. Instead, I ran round trying my hardest to stay alive. After that, I headed off to see the big-breasted goddess, Ellie. But don't worry, I don't discriminate. I love boobs of all shapes and sizes. Anyway, I did some errands for her, smashing up cars so that she could use the parts. She rewarded me with a shiny new car that had a booster seat in it, which meant I could beat the height restriction and enter the Bloodshot hideout. I sprinted in to destroy Badmar with ease, but nope, he decided to chase me around for a few minutes until I succumbed to death's sweet embrace. I tried to be smart and lure him to the gate and use my car to kill him, but every time I got into my car, he ran away. But with a bit of perseverance, I killed him and took his key. The next day I decided to give the challenge another go. Realizing that I needed to level up as much as possible, I farmed Badmar to level 12. I wish I had gone to level 15 at the very least, as I struggled so much with this challenge, levels would have made it so much easier. Watching myself suck this hard made me realize I should probably be strolling the streets at night. I died in the red room as there were far too many customers. It made my knees hurt and my mouth was far too full to scream for help. Filled with the souls of a million children, I worked my way up to Mad Mike, who I definitely didn't kill and then die immediately after, and only just got a second wind. Finally reaching Roland, I watched him get restrained like it was 50 Shades of Hyperion and followed the BDSM bot to its dungeon. Surprisingly enough, I killed Warden without any difficulty. Maybe this wasn't as hard as I remember. You know what happens next. I meet Mordecai and Tina, go retrieve the long, hard, penetrating objects to blow up the train and burn all the babies. Then it's on to Wilhelm, who killed me not once, not twice, but 0 times. And you lot think I'm bad at this game. Bringing the new core to Sanctuary, Jack had the shield lowered and then tried to make everyone an angel. Fortunately, I still had all those children in my stomach from the Bloodshot stronghold, so they're safe. Scooter proved to the world that he's a better engineer than Howard Wolowitz by making the city fly. Lilith banished me, probably for the poor Family Guy level jokes, kinda like the time I was made to stand outside the classroom because I set off a stink bomb and then the entire class started mocking the kid I blamed, saying that he shat himself. I entered the Highlands Outwash and made sure to use the fast travel station. I am not forgetting that again. Sprinted down to the constructor because I was willing to do anything to finish this quickly, but the game had other plans because I died to the constructor. So I hid from it at a distance and sniped it, then died to the Thresher 5 times. I swear, you lot are just out to give me the hardest possible challenges. Let me have some fun, please. I may or may not have cheesed the beacon defense section by doing the thing where you let it get destroyed 8 times, then save quit and the game feels bad for you and auto completes it. Thank you for that, Jolts. Returning to Sanctuary, I helped Marshall Friedman for some free XP and then headed over to the wildlife preservation. This is where things go downhill, really downhill. I'd load the game, play for 30 minutes to an hour, then close it. I tried going all Rambo and running in there and died. I went to Hammerlock's DLC to try and get some levels, died there. Then went to do other missions to get levels and some other items, which didn't work. Went back and was making good progress until I opened a chest and got a speedy plasma cannon, which put me in a really bad mood for the rest of the day. I'm not a fan of E-Tech launchers, but man, it's far better than anything else I had at the time. I progressed inside the facility and made the mistake of opening the boxes in the storage room. So not only did a loot midget jump out, so did Jimmy Jenkins and another loot midget, and of course I died to both of them, but it's okay, I got revenge on them by playing an Uno reverse card. Annoyingly, they didn't drop anything good though. Prepare for another shock. Bloodwing only killed me once. I know, my jaw's still on the floor. I really thought I'd be here for hours and hours. The loot was somewhat okay, nothing I could use, but I did get an Expedia Spiker. The once and future Slab is next, so of course I sprinted through the area in an attempt to get this dreadful challenge over with as soon as possible, only diverting to shoot Face McShooty in the face, an event I've long wanted myself. I then entered the Slab King's hideout and, because I'm a lazy coward, I just kind of shot the helmets off the Goliaths and let them fight everything. Got brave and decided to kill a few enemies, but got downed almost immediately and somehow missed a second wind by what must have been 1 HP. After that awful show of skill, I hid for a minute until I went back out, killed a few enemies and then got down again. But this time I won. The rest of this part was uneventful, but afterwards I did find a one-armed bandit who got me to level 20. Heading to the first beacon, the game decided to bully me even more by spawning a loot midget marauder who not only downed me with no other enemies in the area to get a second wind on, but dropped a right-sizing bitch. Now, you can tell me if this is good or not, but to me, this was the holy grail, and I, King Arthur, couldn't have it, which made me hella sad. Frick and I took out the mortar beacons effortlessly, and I headed back to Sanctuary, and it was at this point where I decided SDU upgrades don't count, so I bought a ton. Up until this point, I had only owned common ones, but if I was going to have any hope, I would need more ammo. I flew through Opportunity with no issues at all, which was so nice. After handing in my quests and realizing that I'd have to now fight Bunker, I didn't open Borderlands for 2 weeks. On my way up the hill to Bunker, I died 9 times and then quit for the day. Granted, I was being very stupid about it and just sprinting up, not realizing I need to kill the constructors to be able to progress. 3 days later, I approached this challenge with a new mindset, beer, and prescription pain meds, all helping to ease the pain of how bad I suck at this game. I headed off to the dust to complete the good, the bad, and the Mordecai, so I could farm Mobley and Gettle for some sweet XP. Now that I had reached the somewhat safe level of 25, I went back and slowly made my way up the hill to bunker, thinking about every movement, every reload, and pounding beer like the world depended on it. Constructor number 1, dead. Annoying turrets on the wall, dead and double dead. Warloader that for some reason had it out for me. A minute later, dead. Constructor number 2, granted I hid and sniped it from a distance like a coward, but still, dead. Now on to bunker. This took me 1 attempt, but that 1 attempt lasted 30 minutes. It's crazy how long it takes to kill something when you do such a small amount of damage. Anyone with 2 brain cells would know that, but no, my 1 brain cell and I kept chipping away at its health until it finally snapped. Kinda like when I used to torment my friend about his inability to get laid, until one day he snapped and I got all butthurt because he shouted at me. Some people, right? What makes it worse is bunker dropped nothing I could use and didn't even drop a legendary. I spent half an hour fighting it. At the very least it could have dropped me something that would upset me further. It would have made it slightly more worthwhile. Now onto Control Core Angel. I went in guns blazing and died. Probably because I have a girlfriend. The data shows that gamers become worse when they're having sex. But because I'm such a pro, I powered through, ignoring any and all urges I had to pee and be balls deep in my girlfriend. I watched Angel and Roland become an Angel and a dead Roland. Lilith got kidnapped and I went to relieve myself. Once my bladder and balls were empty, I went back to Sanctuary, spoke to Mordecai, and went through the toil and trouble of blowing up Boombringer. I won't tell you that I'm like Tom Cruise again, but I'm pretty much Tom Cruise. I put the beacons on the crates, jumped off the tower, drove over the pipe. Let's try that again. Drove over the pipe, but barely hitting it, then ran through to get butt fucked by Saturn because I had no weapon strong enough to kill him. I was going to attempt to fight Saturn again, but then, thanks again to Jolts, I found out that I don't actually have to fight him, I just have to use the lift. So, it's time to become Sonic and go fast. I got into the safety of the building and got brutally murdered. Attempt number 2. Changing nothing about what I did, I got into the safety of the building and got brutally murdered again. Attempt number 3? Nah, just kidding. On the second attempt I managed to get in and stay alive long enough to get the map data. So now it's time to fight a bunch of loaders with weak as shit weapons. Honestly, I think I'd do more damage if I slammed my cock against them. It took 10 minutes for Claptrap to open the door, although I think it's more to do with the fact of how long it takes me to kill things, but still, it was difficult and took far too long. Running up the stairs, something Claptrap can't do, I headed into Heroes Pass. The part between entering and Brick helping you was pure hell. I have such a small amount of health and deal no damage to everything, and everything is 2 to 3 levels higher than me. After a lot of complaining and beer, I managed to get to Brick, so now all I need to do is nothing. Brick will handle everything for me until the next gate. Now that the second gate is open, it's time for me to run like I'm a small child and there's a member of the Catholic Church behind me. Fortunately, for some strange reason, the constructor didn't spawn in, so I managed to get into the vault of the warrior very easily. Now, this next part might be a little upsetting to some, but I ran in, killed Jack, which took an embarrassingly long time. When I say killed Jack, I actually mean I chased him round doing hardly any damage. Then, Jack summoned the warrior, who killed me almost instantly. I ran in once more, then realized I could just stand on the rocks and slowly deal damage to him, which only took 17 minutes, which isn't bad considering how little damage I do. Like I said, I know it's kinda cheaty, but there was no other option. The challenge needed to be done. Hell, it's been 3 months since I put out a video. Lastly, I sprinted down, called a moonshot on the warrior, threw an axe in Jack's face, and beat Borderlands 2 with only common items. I'm wanting to do a Q&A video for 1,000 subs, so if you have anything you'd like to ask me, leave a comment. I'll go through and answer all the old comments as well as any new ones. If you have any challenges or games you'd like me to play, please leave a comment. And until next time, I'm Too Low. Thanks for watching.